Hello and welcome to another video and podcast from Fantasy Football Scout. My name is Joe and today I'm joined by Fantasy Football Scout's Deputy Editor Tom Freeman, who will be revealing his Double Gameweek 25 team. We'll also look back at his Double Gameweek 24 so far, ahead of the Merseyside derby. We're recording this lunchtime on Tuesday, and that Merseyside derby in the double, that takes place on Wednesday. And we'll look at some key players to target in Double Gameweek 25. Among his team, Villa, who along with Liverpool have two matches Game Week 25. Welcome, Tom. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, Joe. It's been a long game week, hasn't it? It's dragged on a bit, but I enjoyed the FA Cup. Went to the Villa game on Sunday against Spurs, which was great, and got the derby tomorrow, like you said, Dan. So it feels like now we're kind of getting close to 25, and it's 24 is finally coming to an end. So.
Yes, well, yeah, lucky you got to go there. I had friends who went to see Brighton humble Chelsea, but sad I couldn't be there myself. But yeah, well done for getting to see Villa win there. Against a reasonable opposition, Spurs these days.
Yeah, I mean they've got some attacking talent on the pitch, haven't they? We were looking at the lineups before, and Tell was obviously playing, and Son and Kulusevski, and we thought they could cause us a few problems, but we were excellent, really, and just really got that really early goal, and it was hard for them after that.
Okay, well, yeah, we'll look at just how excellent Villa's options are for the Double Game Week in a sec. Just a reminder, do press that like button. It does help us out, and do remember to subscribe, keep up to date with our latest videos and podcasts wherever you receive them as well. Let's just have a quick look, see how you're getting on in Double Game Week 24. You've joined me with Moyes Ageddon. I fired him up. Welcome, 12 points so far. So in a way, I would like him to do well. I'd love him, Everton, to beat Liverpool. That would be huge for us. But I feel like I'm okay so far with 12 points. It's like when your captain scores early on, you can relax. But what was your so you've used a transfer as well. So what transfer did you make? But also, what was your decision making around Moyes, and what are you going to do with Moyes in Double Game Week 25?
So the transfer, unfortunately, was Chris Wood to Undaye. So I'm 9 points down on that move at the moment. Probably 7 tomorrow. I'm not expecting him to get much there. The reason why I needed to make that transfer was I needed funds for David Moyes. I only had 0.1 million in the bank, and I obviously needed to get up to 0.5. So I was looking at who I could sell, and it was probably the Wood or Anthony Gordon. But Gordon had that home fixture against Fulham, and so I kind of made that decision to sell Wood, and it's bad timing, but just got to kind of move on from it, really.
As someone who gets bench points from players like that regularly, as you say, if you're 9 points down, you're not going to remember that. I mean, you might think, I missed out on Chris Wood hat-trick, but if you're basically 9 points down from that deal, or maybe 7 or 8 points by the time Dye plays again, then that's nothing really.
Yeah, it's not as bad as transferring in somebody who's blanked or something like that. And I did at least get to benefit from the Forest clean sheet with Matt Sells. He got 8 points at the back. And in terms of what I'm going to do with Moyes, I'm definitely going to switch him for a double game week manager. It just depends if I go for EMERY or Slot, and maybe we can talk about that in a bit.
Okay, yeah, definitely, because you're in the same position as me. Both got Moyes. I think, like you, I've got enough money to upgrade him to EMERY. We've also got triple Liverpool, Alexander-Arnold, Salah, and Gakpo. So, one of those, in order to get Moyes to Slot, which I'm okay with, but I like the table. Well, it's not like I like the table bonus in assistant managership. I feel that is the point of it. So, Moyes,
there's a potential for a big haul. Like tomorrow could be massive, couldn't it? If Everton somehow got a draw against Liverpool.
So Moyes, what was it? It was a 4-0 victory, and he's got 12 points. So that's your ceiling for a non-table bonus, really. That's the best you can get from a non-table bonus victory there. So Slot, got 10 points. So if Slot beats Liverpool, beat Everton, you're looking at another 10, 12 points. But if Moyes beats Liverpool, you're looking at 20 points, 19 points.
Yeah, it's going to be big, isn't it? So it's a massive swing. The only reason I'd consider slot Joe just to jump in is if Trent's ruled out of 25, and then that might present an opportunity. But if it looks as like he's going to be okay, then I wouldn't do that.
I've heard that that he's fine, but it's a possibility he could be on the bench for this derby. So. But at the same time, he might start. But nevertheless, he should be fine for double 25.
Yeah, I think Slot said he had done parts of training this morning when he spoke. But the fact Bradley didn't play against Plymouth probably suggests that they're not going to risk him. But then if he's okay for Wolves, then I think he's an obvious hold, isn't he?
Yeah.
It's just if he was doubtful for that as well, then people who have got Moyes as the assistant manager and Trent, they might have, if they want to go for Liverpool, they could. But like you, I think we'll talk about it in a bit maybe, but the fixture at home against Ipswich is good for EMERY.
Yeah.
And then we're very good at home this year. You never know. We could nick a draw against Liverpool. So
yeah, I mean, I think if any team is going to be Liverpool, it's going to be like, well, for example, Nottingham Forest did it. It's going to be a team, of the caliber of a Champions League side like Villa, or a Champions League aspiring team like Nottingham Forest. The way I look at that is a switch from Moyes to EMERY gets you that Ipswich game, and then it gets you that possibility of a table bonus. Whereas if you go for Slot, you're looking at tops 10 points each kind of thing, maybe.
Yeah. And you'd probably switch Slot anyway the following week because they've got City, haven't they?
Yeah.
And so you're probably going to bring him in and then take him out again. And I'm not sure if that you might have to do that with EMERY as well, to be honest.
He's played Chelsea, isn't he? And I think he's just misses out on a table bonus currently.
Unless we do terribly in this double game week.
Which of course you don't. Because if that happens, then you're less likely to want. So I'm either just going to hope for a 10 points with EMERY in 26 or move it on. But I don't really like a lot of the options. And I think Villa could easily beat Chelsea. So I would have to do it for a table bonus move. And I don't like, Van Nistelrooy, that kind of thing. McKenna's Ipswich against Spurs could be the one.
Yeah, I was just about to say that would probably be the fixture that I would look at. I'm not convinced by Leicester. I think it's at Brentford they play. I'm not totally convinced by that one. No. So probably Ipswich. But even then, I mean, the nature of the table bonus one is that you're never going to feel that confident about it, are you? It's just you've got to look at the matchup and just weigh up if it's kind of you could see somehow like a small chance of a result.
Yeah. Definitely. Okay, so we've got lots to think about. We'll talk about that in a bit more detail in a bit as well. So I'm just going to look at the fixtures because there's been some developments around the League Cup and, of course, with the FA Cup as well. So just to briefly, because I did put this up on FPL General's video as well, I do have a look at that. I'll do listen to the podcast. But game week 25 is important because Liverpool play twice, Wolves and Aston Villa, which is why we've just been talking about Liverpool and Villa loads. Aston Villa themselves have Ipswich at home and then that Liverpool away game. Meanwhile, Liverpool and Villa and Crystal Palace and Newcastle all blank in 29. So we can have some firm plans looking at our team, how many transfers we've got, how many transfers we've got left, whether we will free hit in 29 to cope with that and maybe take advantage of some other teams. The fact that, say, for example, Salah's not playing, so you can use his money. Or, like me, I'm minded to just not free hit at all. I can easily do that with transfers. I like a lot of the cheap options. Quite happy to go in there with Chris Wood, Cunha, those types of players. I think I rely on them more than I would Haaland. But anyway, that's me. What about you? Because that's the key thing we know now, what game week 29 looks like. Are you minded to free hit or not free hit? And also, I guess that's going to shape your transfers over the coming weeks as well. Yeah,
I mean, I have got quite a lot of players blanking in my team. I've got triple Newcastle, I've got Munoz, I've got triple Liverpool, and I've got Rodgers as well.
Okay, right.
So I'm more invested than a lot of other people in those clubs who are blanking. So the immediate thought is to free hit. Looking at the landscape beyond that, I know there's a lot of unknowns at the moment, but I'd rather hold the free hit if I can. And I think I can get to 11 starters with a -4. So I think that's probably what I'll be looking at to do. But I'm not going to totally rule out that free hit yet. But I mean, looking at these fixtures here, Joe, it makes sense to start moving on players from Newcastle, for example, given their position. So I think Hall, I think that Gordon, those kind of players can be moved on. And then obviously the rest of them can be closer to 29 because obviously I don't want to take out Munoz yet.
No, you've got the Crystal Palace players that could possibly move on, the Aston Villa players as well, and the Liverpool players. I'm sort of looking to sort of hold transfers if I can, some of them, and then get to 29, and then I can move on the likes of Gakpo, Alexander-Arnold maybe, even Morgan Rogers, but sort of maybe Isak if I've still got him, but Salah I'm going to keep because Game Week 30, and I would like Isak still really because Game Week 30, this is another thing you got to think of. Free hitters advantage, but also those not free hitting is that Newcastle at home to Brentford, good fixture there, and also handy is that Bournemouth and Brentford play in 29 and have, well, in Bournemouth's case, have a really good Game Week 30 fixture, and so you can invest in them now. So that was something I was talking to FPL General about, sort of bulking up with those two teams.
Exactly, Joe. Yeah, I mean, I've got on the transfer plans. I already own Semenyo, but obviously a lot of people are looking at Kluivert and Dango as well, and Kekes and players like that. And that's the appeal. You know, they've got great fixtures running right through to be on the blank as well. So loads of appeal there.
Okay, let's have a look at Aston Villa. So your team, you've seen them live in action this weekend. It's very, very recent as well. So I've got best Villa players, all matches. Minutes per expected goal involvement. And I want to say as well that there is a members area article on Fantasy Football Scout on exactly this topic, best Aston Villa players. Is that penned by your good self as well?
It was, yeah.
Indeed. So do have a look at that if you've got members access. And if you haven't, have a look at the site and see how to get members access so you can get access to that kind of stuff. So this is a taster of that. Sorted by minutes per expected goal involvement. Ollie Watkins is at the top, 116 points. He's in 16.6% of teams, 5 assists and 10 goals, so he's not too shabby. Duran's gone, so he should be nailed there. You saw Villa without him, though, at the weekend, did well. What's the latest on Watkins? And if he is fit, is he worth getting him?
Yeah, well, we need an update on the injury and this muscle problem, which he picked up at Molineux. EMERY said in his Spurs press conference that he was hopeful that he'd be back in training this week. So we just need to keep an eye on that. If he is fit, he's in the conversation, of course. He's our best striker, obviously, now Duran's gone. My only concern with Watkins is how good we looked on Sunday with Marlon playing through the middle and then later Rashford. If Watkins isn't 100% ready, no disrespect to Ipswich, but we could probably play that game and keep him in reserve and maybe introduce him off the bench if we need to. And then... so he gets the majority of his double game week minutes against Liverpool. That's not really the fixture that you want him playing in. It's the Ipswich one. So I would be a bit concerned. And as well as what is beyond game week 25 as well, we've obviously got Chelsea, Palace, Brentford, and then we blank. We've got Champions League fixtures either side of Brentford. So whilst having all these great new players coming in is brilliant for my club, and the fact that we played so well on Sunday, it does maybe make resting Watkins when we need to an option. So yeah, at the moment at this stage, I'm not that hot on the kind of, a lot of people are looking at Isak to Watkins. I'm not so sure about that one.
No, I'm not at the moment because my team, I've got to bench one of Brian and Bomo, Isak, Chris Woods, and Dango.
Oh, okay, wow.
So there's no way I want to add Watkins into the mix.
No,
as well. So I don't know which. I as of this morning, Chris Wood's on my bench. As of yesterday, Isak was. Dango was at the weekend.
Okay,
I'm going to be wrong, whatever I do. Anyway,
but you've got enough to think about without adding Watkins to the mix. So I understand that.
Bailey's next. Minutes per expected goal involvement every 243 minutes. He's only got 3 attacking returns though. So Rogers is just behind him. Minutes per expected goal involvement every 277 minutes. He's got 11 attacking returns though, double the points of Bailey. Bailey's not getting as many starts. Obviously, Rogers is as nailed as can be. And so I sort of lumped them together. Bailey, should we in any way be considering Bailey? I'm imagining the answer might be no. And Rogers, is Rogers a must?
Yeah, I think with Bailey, I think he hasn't quite hit the heights this season that he did last season. He did very well against Spurs. I think he probably starts against Ipswich, but the issue is now, we saw it at the weekend, Asensio came on in the number 10 role and Rodgers shifted to the right wing, which is Bailey's role. So I just think that minutes are a bit of a concern for Bailey. I could easily see McGinn playing the second match on the right wing. Right. I wouldn't go there personally. No. Rodgers, yeah, he's the best option because I think he's got that versatility. He's got the expected minutes. Very reliable at home. He is on 8 yellow cards and he'll obviously blank in 29. So just bear that in mind. But I still think in most cases he's a buy.
Yeah, I mean, I'll ditch him at some point. But yeah, he's been great. I can't remember when I got him in. It feels like most of this season, really. But he's absolute revelation, and I would be gobsmacked if he's not in the Fantasy Football Scout Team of the Year of when all the members vote and all the viewers vote for that. Because I just think he's so good value.
Yeah, people forget he started the season at 5 million.
I know.
So it's quite rare you get those type. We've been treated to Palmer the year before, and then obviously Rodgers this year. But yeah, I think he's obviously the top option for this double for Villa.
Tielemans is next. It's an intriguing differential, I think. It's only 1% of teams. He's very, very involved. Minutes per expected goal involvement every 300 minutes. I would put him below Rodgers myself as a target, and only 5 attacking returns, but he does always look involved. He's always going to start. There's 24 starts. I mean, I think if you've got space, there's a consideration there. There's set pieces as well.
Well, it's mainly assist potential. He doesn't shoot a lot. He did have a good shot on Sunday, which just was past to the post. But I think he's only had 10 shots in the box all season in the league. So I think it is assist potential that you're looking at. Like you say, I'd put Rodgers ahead. If I was going to add another midfielder, I think it would probably be Ramsey. But there's risk in going there as well. Yeah. Whereas at least with Tielemans, you're getting that nailed on starter.
Yeah. 44 chances created, by far the most in Villa's side. Next is Rodgers with 31. So Tielemans is your creative man. Rashford is your wild card pick. How did he look when he came on? Because I saw the photos of him joining, and he looked like I look after a night out.
He came out onto the warm-up and we all commented like he looked great. He looked in really good shape because we had all seen the pictures upon his arrival, and he looked a little bit kind of washed out, and he just didn't look quite himself. But then he came on the pitch and he looked like he had a bit of a point to prove, and he looked sharp and he looked in shape. He played the number 9 role and kind of drifted to the left a bit. He hasn't played for a while. He had a couple of heavy touches, but generally it was really positive. He got us off our seats. And the problem again is, though, I can't really recommend him as a pick because I just don't know if he starts either game. I'm genuinely not sure. I mean, the team played very well on Sunday up until he came on. It would maybe seem very harsh to drop Ramsey after that performance and Marlon as well. So, yeah, I mean, it would be a real wild card pick.
Okay, yeah. I mean, the expected minutes is very low for Rashford's. But I do think he's the maverick pick. He's 6.6 now. He's only got 54 points. This is Manchester United stats, but obviously he's now a Villa player. He's got 5 attacking returns, 4 goals and an assist. 12 starts for Manchester United, 10 shots inside the box, 9 on target. So yeah, I mean these are the stats of a player that hasn't been starting, basically. And so that is the problem here. Good to hear that he actually didn't look like he did in that photo when he joined. So yeah, I do not rule out getting Rashford in at some point this season, but this might come a bit too soon.
I'd agree with that.
I'll probably skip McGinn a little because I just think he's going to be way below the pecking order now in FPL, but it's worth noting he's got 3 assists. Ramsey is interesting. He's looked great. I don't know whether this is me building a narrative. He looked like a player who plays for a team who've just signed someone in his position.
he actually said that. He said that after the game. Yeah, he kind of said, it's going to... he said that what it does do is everybody in the first team has to raise their game now, and you kind of saw that, I think, on Sunday.
He looked absolutely great. he has looked pretty good most matches I've seen of him. You've obviously seen him close up a lot more. He's in 0.3% teams, 5.4. Only 11 starts, but a lot of that's through injury as well. At the moment, on current form, you would imagine he's nailed on. But just 2 assists and a goal. But as you said, he's got Rashford on his shoulders. So I don't mind that as a punt.
Yeah, I mean, that position in the team, it gets a lot of chances, that kind of left winger. You saw it, I think he had 5 shots against Spurs. He scored, he hit the post, he missed a one-on-one.
Yeah.
So there's loads of appeal there. I don't think he's completely nailed on because of the options that we've got there. But he has had a real stop-start season and he seems to be building up his fitness now. And EMERY was very complimentary about him after the match. So I think it'd be a surprise if he was dropped against Ipswich. And I think if I had to go for anybody apart from Rodgers in midfield, it would probably be Ramsey. So.
Yeah, definitely. And the final name is Luca Dean. He's the best of the defence. Now, my view of the defence, I probably wouldn't go there because of that Liverpool game. Also, Luca Dean's got 63 points, but he's been troubling for FPL managers.
Yes.
He's only in 7% of teams. He has got 4 assists to his name. So I think he would probably be the best if you can get a clean sheet for just assist potential. But I guess, either him or, what am I right in thinking Villa defence just avoid?
I think so. We don't keep many clean sheets. Konza went off injured against Spurs. We've already got Pau Torres out. Mings 50-50 whether he'll start. I think Dizazi will come in for this one, but he might be playing alongside Kamara. I don't think looking at the fixtures beyond 25 either, you're going to get much in terms of clean sheets. So bearing in mind the blank, I don't think I would go there. I think that, we're not a great defensive unit at the moment. And I think there's probably better options. And if you're considering Dizazi, just be aware that he can't play in 26 because we play Chelsea as parent club, and he can't play in 29.
Okay. Right, so it looks like Rodgers, and there's a variety of other players you could take a punt on. But X minutes is a problem. Let's quickly, before we finish off, look at next week as well. Got some pictures of Villa players on the pitch here. So take us through your team, what your decisions are. It looks pretty well set up, but obviously you've got that Moyes decision.
Yes. So I've got Sells in goal away at Fulham, Alexander-Arnold, Gabriel and Munoz at the back. I've got Salah, Palmer, Rodgers, Gordon and Semenyo in midfield, and then Gakpo and Isak up front. I've got Fabianski, Undiai, Collins and Hall on the bench, and then I've got Moyes as my assistant manager. I've got two free transfers, Joe, and 1 million in the bank.
Wow.
So the initial idea was, and still probably is, Moyes to EMERY, and then Gordon to either Cliver or Dango and double up on that Bournemouth midfield, which helps me in 29 too, because I'm losing Gordon.
Yes. That's
I could go Ramsey in that spot, but that creates a problem in 29 then, because I'm just not really helping that situation. So I think that's what I'm looking at the moment. And then I think the team looks in pretty good shape for that double. With 3 Liverpool and 2 Villa with Rodgers and EMERY. If Alexander-Arnold were to be ruled out, then I'd have to look at that again, because it would open up a possibility of bringing in Slot. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure on that. I think like you, Joe, I quite like the idea of that table bonus for EMERY in a home match at Villa Park, and maybe going for that.
Yeah, it's not like we're betting on Van Nistelrooy at Leicester. This is like a top manager. Who has got pedigree of beating better teams or higher up teams, and it's a good team. So with good players. So I think it's an okay gamble for the
and you've got and a bit like the Everton one, you've got the Ipswich game first at home. You'd expect us to win that by a couple of goals. So. Then the second game, we're going into it and we're not petrified, because hopefully we've already got some decent points on the board. Yeah,
definitely. Excellent. You look well set up there. Good luck with the double. Good luck Moyes. Good luck you and Moyes for Wednesday. I hope I say we now, but I'm basically an Evertonian.
We're all Everton.
We're all Everton now. Take care, Tom. See you soon.
Thanks, Joe.